You are now listening to Trans Talk with JC Best and Dina Marie.
Hi, I'm Dina Marie.
We're just talking about trans shit.
I did not come to play with you hoes. I came to slay, bitch.
Most people who are trans have been through hell and high water.
The hardest part about being a woman is figuring out what to wear.
Baby, oh my God, you know what that means, that beautiful music means. It's time for Trans Talk, baby. I'm your host, JC Best, and to the left of me, the beautiful Miss Dina Marie.
Hey, babe, what's up?
What is up with you?
Not much. How are you?
I'm doing good. I feel like we wearing the same shit. Did you peek in my outfit, in my closet, or did I peek in yours? What's going on here?
I don't know.
We're looking sporty, like, you know, you're looking like sporty Spice, I think.
I don't think so.
No, you don't feel sexy?
No, I mean, I don't think I look like Sporty Spice.
Oh, okay. What does your man feel?
No, he thought I looked good today.
My arch nemesis. I'm getting her back, James. You understand that? I'm getting her back.
You never had me.
Oh, shit. Stop telling our business. All right. Oh, my God. I'm feeling good today, bro. We have kind of like a different type of conversation.
Yeah.
Usually we just talk shit for hours and hours and hours. But today we actually have to be like professional because we have someone very important on the show.
Yeah.
How are you feeling about this?
It's exciting. It's good to... I don't
Just
know. Are
switch
you
it up
going to
a
be
little.
able to control yourself and act?
I don't think so. I think I'm ignorant. I mean, it is what it is. You know, don't mean I'm not a good person inside.
Well, I know you're a great person.
Yes, but I am an ignorant asshole, and I'm going to have to just tone it down. But no, we've been following this person for a while. We've been looking up different charities that we wanted to contribute to. We have a big event coming up.
Yeah.
And I was really excited at the work of this particular organization, and we have the executive director here today. So that's Miss Lourdes Ashley Hunter. We are so thrilled about that, but that will be in a few minutes after you and I kick it and talk about some shit.
Yeah. What do you want to talk about?
Last night, I did a 3-part show in Harlem at the National Black Theater in Harlem. Great show. And, you know, a lot of people asking for social media. You know, really great time. And some black women, you know, asked me for my information. I'm like, when I gave it to them, they pulled up the Trans Talk logo and shit. And they was on it.
That's your profile picture.
Yeah, you know that's my profile picture. And they was on me. You know, they was eyeing me. They was, you know, undressing me up and down. I was like, oh, ooh. You know, it was, you know. And then they pulled up that shit, and then they started giving me the side eye. Like, what's this about? And I was like, well, what is the problem? You know, it just felt very like, I didn't like it. I didn't get it. But there's something like that in the black community, and I don't completely understand it. What do you think it is?
I don't know. I don't know.
I mean, we talked about this before, even with you. What am I doing, Joe? Oh my God, are the levels loud enough? Oh, that's better now. Oh, I hope people can get this.
Were you the one to offer one?
I don't know. For once, maybe me. But we've talked about this before. You know what I'm saying? I mean, you as a white trans person, you predominantly date black men, don't you?
Yeah.
And so there is an attraction to trans people in the black community, but it's like something that it's like very, I don't know, you're not supposed to touch it. I don't know. Maybe our guest will be able to chime in on it, but it's a very interesting thing to me.
Yeah, it definitely is.
What about you? What's going on with you?
Nothing. I mean, how was
you told me something I want to talk about it. You don't want to mention it. Are we allowed to?
No, we don't have to. It's fine.
Come on,
no,
let's talk
I don't
about
want
it.
to.
All right, it's up to you. How are you and James doing?
We're doing really good.
Really?
Yeah.
What's been going on?
Nothing. I mean, we had a good weekend. It was nice. I mean, I worked and then I got home late. Chilled a little bit today. It was just like a chill day today.
Have you met his family yet?
No.
No.
No, they live in Chicago.
They live in Chicago, but they know about you and all that type of stuff.
Well, yeah, he's starting to tell them. He's told, yeah, well, Yeah.
Go ahead, talk about it. Say
No,
it.
I don't want to talk about this on the show.
Oh my goodness! All right, my mistake. I would like to go ahead and just kind of really jump into our guests. What do you feel?
Yeah, that's good. We should do that.
All right. I want to go ahead and just say a quick word. I spoke to Lourdes on the phone. Our first interaction, we spoke on the phone, and I was blown away with, I don't want to say how aggressive she was, but how direct she was on the phone. It actually took my breath away. And you know, I constantly am spitting just crazy shit. Nobody ever gets me. She was so direct. I clutched my pearls. I was like, oh my God. I don't even know we ready for all of this on the show. It was just fantastic to speak to somebody who was that open and honest. And I'm just so really thrilled to have her. Lourdes is the executive director and co-founder of the Trans Women's Color Collective, and she's here with us this evening. I present to you Miss Lourdes Ashley Hunter. Come on, Lourdes, come on up here. Give her a round of applause. There's a couple of people in studio here. The gadgets, the
Hello.
technology. Lourdes, how are you?
I'm fine. How are you today?
We are doing just fantastic. Thank you so much for coming down here to New York City. I mean, do you come here often? From what I understand, you do not live here anymore.
No, I live in Washington, D.C. That's where I'm based, but I'm often in New York City. I do a lot of work here. I happen to be traveling the past 5 days. I spent the first 3 days upstate at Hamilton College, where I did a keynote there and hung out with the students. And then I came down here, hung out with some family and friends, and definitely wanted to be on the show.
It's our pleasure to absolutely have you.
We're super excited to have you out.
Thank you.
Listen, as we said, we talk shit. We are ignorant. You're kind of like a high level person up here. We really don't deserve you, Lourdes, is what we're saying.
I don't know what that means.
We really don't deserve you. Actually, it's funny because we talked about that. I think on our first conversation, you even mentioned, you said, you can't really do comedy with the trans community. I don't know if you remember, you said something like that.
I did, yeah.
What do you mean by that?
Because we're not jokes. And I think that you have to be very skilled as a comedian to be able to bring humor to situations that are really delicate for a lot of people,
Do you think white people are jokes?
Jokes? No.
Do you think, gay people are jokes or anything like that?
No, I don't think any person particularly is a joke.
So
there are things that happen that are funny,
True.
that are indicative to any particular culture. But even still, you want to be careful.
In a comedian's world, they have to be entitled to joke about anything. So if I can joke about, check it out. If I can joke about black people on a show, joke about black people, where black people are the butt of the joke, or gay people, or Hispanic people, or women as a collective, and then I can't joke about trans people. That's actually saying
I've
something.
never said that though, because me and my friends, we're pretty funny. We joke all the time about each other and about things that happen in the trans community.
Right.
But it was not done in a way to be offensive or to be derogatory. And if it is, it's checked, because no one's really here to hurt people. That's crazy. And sometimes comedians could get out of hand. You just don't get to say what you want to say. You may just catch these hands.
Well, now that's really funny. That's really funny. That's great. Listen, that's what it is.
Listen.
That is really what it is.
Listen.
I mean, and I've always said this as a comedian. You got to be prepared. You got to be prepared to back up and defend this shit you say on stage. Lord, I have gotten into it on a number of occasions, but that's just a risk that we take. Because what you're doing is, if you're trying to make a joke, that means at the end of the day, humor is involved. That should always be the key, is to make people laugh. If you're trying to hurt people, then that's some other shit.
Yeah, that's something else.
But throwing them hands, okay, that's what's up. People don't like to fake anytime people, because America's very big free speech. Especially white males, always on some shit like, well, I just be able to say, whatever to say, because niggas be losing their jobs now. But when you hear a minority kind of fight back and say, hey, no, say something, watch your mouth. You know, it's kind of like, oh.
Well, that's how I grew up. I'm from Detroit, and so it didn't matter what
Detroit.
color you were. You know, I didn't grow up in a culture where people didn't speak to each other. I didn't grow up in a culture where people bumped people on the street without saying excuse me. That's considered rude.
Right.
And so like that happens a lot here in New York City. Everyone's in a rush. Everyone has somewhere to go. But where I'm from in Detroit, you know, you say excuse me, you move out of people's way, you just don't bump people. They don't do that in DC either. So I think it's just like really a New York thing.
It is, Dina. I mean, it's true. What do you feel about? I mean, New York City. Listen, if someone looks at me and like smiles, I want to punch him in the face. Like, nigga, what the fuck? What you looking at, dog?
Yeah, I mean, I don't like people looking.
Yeah, it may be a cultural thing, but don't smile at me. You know, I don't, you know, I don't see that as
you don't
In
deserve
New York, you should be moving too fast to even like realize what anybody else is doing. So
looking me in my eyes, saying hello. What?
It's creepy. It's one of the reasons why I left this horrible place. You know, the trains.
No,
there's
she
just
didn't
no
call our
personal
home.
space. It
horrible.
is. I lived here for 12 years, and it was some of the most gruesome times. New York is filthy. Look, all of the trash out there. And we're in Park Slope. Probably one-bedroom apartments goes for like $2,600. Then there's trash right outside the door.
Look at Lourdes. Lourdes is reading our city
I'm
right
just
now.
saying.
She is reading our city.
You took my beverage.
Get him, Joe. Joe is our owner here at Live On Air. As I should say, we are here, just to clarify, we are here each and every Sunday night, Trans Talk at 8 o'clock p.m., live on air at 335 Flatbush Avenue in Brooklyn. And we love it here in Park Slope, Joe. And we love you, Joe.
We do love it. And we do love Joe.
And Joe said he loves his trash.
It was no reflection on Joe. I'm talking about the city. Not even just here, anywhere in the city. I lived here for 12 years. I'm not like just making it up.
You're breaking
the city
balls.
is filthy. You have come on.
Listen, we know
Do
what
better,
you're
New
doing. You
Yorkers.
breaking balls
Do better.
right now.
Do better.
Listen, tough. You. When I say you talk tough, and this is the shit I was talking about, where are you? I'm very curious as your background, Lourdes. Even before we get into your political work, just your background as a human being. Because you have an energy about you that's really tough. It's like nice. It's like come with it. Why?
I grew up that way. I'm originally from Detroit. My mother is a pastor. She was involved in the union.
Wow.
You know, my family was involved in, you know, really being powerful as Black folk and having pride in that. And also understanding family and how important that is to all of us.
Right.
I grew up with 3 brothers. I've never had a fight ever. You know, there were times I would have to be more concerned about my brothers finding out someone was bothering me. Because I knew what they would do to them.
Show them that hands. Them hands.
Them hands, right.
What were you always? Can I say when did you come out as trans?
I've never come out as trans.
Let's talk about it.
I've always identified as someone who is gender nonconforming, someone who is non-binary. And when I had the opportunity to take agency over my own self and how I am affirmed, you know, I can say that I'm transgender, but I'm more than just that, right? Because for me, and it's different. Like, it's not like, you know, some people have some epiphany down the line or along the road.
Absolutely.
But like for me, I had an aunt who was trans, and so I think that was easier for my family to embrace that. Also, being like where we were from, you know, you just don't discard your family like that. That's crazy.
You know, again, it's crazy to you, but in my experience, I feel like, at least I'm coming from a Dominican background. My father found out my sister was gay.
Mm-hmm.
And this is the baby girl of the family. He loves her with all his heart. And when she came up to visit, this one particular time, he wouldn't even open the door. He wouldn't even, actually, no, that's a lie. He opened the door and cracked it, hi, and then he closed it. So, you know, and then I've got, you know, I come from just a community where I can say it has, transphobia would be a thing. I've never even used that term, transphobia or homophobia. It's just like, what?
An irrational fear.
Yeah, it is, you know, I never even, but now I get it. So you grew up with people accepting you right from the gate for who you were.
Acceptance was never the goal. I mean, like, I mean,
I heard you actually say that on the
on Essence. Yeah,
interview.
you've been watching me.
stalking you. you so. I gotta say this. You said that, and I was like, "Ooh, that's powerful."
Like who lives for acceptance? If you do, you need to reevaluate your existence
who
on
are
this
you
planet.
to accept me? Who
Exactly.
Are you?
No, it's not about acceptance. It's about being affirmed. It's about being seen as your whole self. People receiving you as your whole self, and being able to love and grow in that affirmation. That's the only thing that I seek. And it's easy for me to obtain that because I give that to other people. I affirm them. I see them for who they are. And so it's reciprocal.
Right.
If I get that back, then that's good. They pour into me, I pour into them. But if they're not pouring into me, boo-boo, nothing goes into them.
Gina, do you second that, boo?
Yeah, I mean, I really don't care what anybody thinks. I'm gonna live my life, and that's it.
Yeah. That's great. That's fantastic. I know that we had a guest on the show who brought up an incredible point. She said that sometimes trans narratives are always very I'm the victim. It's just very sad. It's like, oh, I'm trans and I can't find a job, and it's just all of the negative things. She said, how about we start talking about the positives, just celebrating who you are, no matter what your background is, and just being the positive stuff.
Absolutely, and that's really a lot of the work that Trans Women of Color Collective does is creating safer spaces for trans people, gender nonconforming, non-binary people, our family, our comrades, our friends, to find that place where they can be affirmed and celebrated as they see themselves, right? Like, how do you identify? How do you see yourself? And that reflection is what is really needed. A lot of times people talk about diversity and inclusion, and I always say diversity and inclusion is just white supremacy spelled backwards. I'm more interested in spaces that are reflective, that look like me. I want to look in the mirror. I want to see myself. I want to go into spaces, restaurants, bars, business rooms, gallery spaces, and see my reflection there. And that's affirming for me and for people like me.
Okay, so really quick, we just kind of backing up to what you just said. You're not really into steps. You want all of your rights right now.
I have all my rights.
Right. People argue that so Dave Chappelle's, he's the comedian. We were talking a little bit about offensive comedy and all of that. He made the point that trans people should be more patient with some of the things.
Dave Chappelle should go back to comedy school.
I know. I think Dave Chappelle is very funny. You don't?
No. Next question.
Did you see that silence? I didn't even have a follow-up. I'm just kind of jarred. I'm like, oh.
No, he's an asshole.
He's an asshole.
He's like a boil. Have you ever had a boil on your ass?
Is this a hemorrhoid? This is getting very personal. About
when
my
your thighs
body.
rub together, and then they rub together so much from all of that sweat accumulation, a boil forms.
Dave Chappelle is a boil.
Yes, on my ass.
You do not think that he is a friend of the trans community?
I am divesting from this line of conversation because it's not even worth my voice.
I'm just curious, just to, quickly to it.
Are you listening?
Absolutely. You just say he's a boil, but why?
Because his thought pattern, his whole existence is just based on nothingness. It's based on toxic masculinity, and I've just had enough of it, and I don't have to tolerate it, and neither does anyone else. Whoever wants to support him can do that.
Right.
I choose not to support anyone who is just toxic to humanity and their thought and their actions. Like, why waste your time?
Right. Dina.
But you like him.
I love Dave Chappelle.
Should we dissect that?
No, we absolutely can.
Your connection to toxic masculinity.
Well, it's not just the connection of toxic
masculinity. It's your existence as well. It's more than just a connection.
No, it's not.
Yes, it is.
At the end, okay, so now
you eat toxic masculinity for breakfast. I can tell.
We say toxic masculinity. But you're talking in the framework of a joke.
Even when
because he has not all of the things.
Not even a joke, like in existence, like. Even when you were sitting here and you was like, "Oh, you look so flash dancey. I should throw a bucket of water on you."
Yes.
That is toxic as fuck.
I don't agree with that.
You don't have to.
We have a relationship.
And she has a man.
That's correct.
So respect her relationship with her man, and don't talk about throwing a bucket of water on her and how sexy that is.
He respects her. He actually respects our relationship.
That's just.
Please don't explain for this black man anything, because it just wouldn't even work.
Well, this is very interesting. I feel like there are people who live differently, but you are not tolerating that.
It's not about tolerance. It's about actively engaging in the elevation of your consciousness.
I think, but you're making accusations that are baseless.
You think they're baseless?
Absolutely.
I've watched your show. You wanted to call it tranny talk.
I did.
That's fucking crazy.
I
What the fuck is wrong with you?
Yeah, that's what I told him. It was crazy.
That's fucking crazy.
I don't agree with you.
You don't have to agree. You're not even trans, so
Did
you
you
really
watch?
don't
Did
even
you
have a voice.
Wait a minute.
in the conversation.
Did you watch
though.
the first? Okay, so
I did. I watched the first episode and the second.
So the
episode.
first
Ooh, the
episode, when I
second
brought that up, I said the issue was, I believe, in equivalence with words like nigga and things like that.
Oh my god!
And I said, as a
so you would have a.
let me finish.
even
Let me
funny.
finish. As a comedian,
Can I have a shot of Patron with lemon?
you can. As a comedian, for me, I don't care what words are said. If you are trying to do it in terms of humor and not be hurtful, I do not care what words are said. So that's equivalent. This is exactly what we were talking about at the beginning of the show. If black people can be talked about in a humorous way, gay people, women, trans people can too.
I did not.
That's just the
I
bottom
did
line.
not agree with that. What I said was tranny is not funny. Correct, girlfriend?
Correct.
Thank you. Next question.
No, there's not
You still want to talk about
Absolutely.
this? I cannot.
This is my show. I'm the host.
Go ahead.
Okay, I appreciate your aggressiveness, but
It's not aggressiveness. Why anytime
you're
a black
guest
woman
here.
stands up for herself, right, assert herself in a dominant way, black men feel so inferior.
You still have to be respectful.
Respectful?
I do not feel
What is
inferior
happening?
at all.
While I don't like the word, I mean, I do also feel that there's bigger issues in the trans community than that word. So I mean,
It is.
I mean, I don't think it's a nice word, and I don't use it, and I don't none of my friends would use it. But I also, I mean, I don't know. I don't find it.
Say it.
I don't find it as broadly of that.
You don't find it as offensive.
Because I think it's just recently that it's just seems like
That word is the word that so many black trans women and trans women of color hear. Sometimes the last word that they hear as they're taking their last breath.
Right.
So there's nothing funny about that. Too much violence happens in our community because we allow people these passes.
Right.
You don't get a pass to say that shit because you might not find it offensive. That's fine. But some young black man is watching you, right? And he's going to think that it's funny for him to say that. And then he's going to go out on that street and he's going to call a trans woman that word. And he's going to catch them hands and wish he never did that. So you have to be careful in the messages that you send out there to people because, those messages could be misconstrued and folk can get hurt. That's all I'm saying.
Lourdes, how do you feel about the word nigga?
What? In what context?
Just the word, just saying it.
Well, it has to be context.
That's interesting.
Yes, when you have...
Because you would also say that there has to be context for the word trans.
Absolutely.
Like if a trans person is saying, is
if
calling
a group,
calling her friend.
If a group of us are in the room and it's just trans women in the room and somebody says tranny and we all laugh and we're talking about something and nobody is offended, that is an appropriate time to use that word.
You would say the same thing for nigga.
Absolutely.
Right. So all I'm saying is that there's an appropriate context. So we're saying the same thing.
Absolutely.
It just seems that mine are a little broader.
The appropriate place is not the title of our show, though.
Right. Not the title of the show.
I like to be called nigga in the bedroom as well. You know what I'm
Okay.
saying? Like,
I like to get paid when I'm in the bedroom. How about that?
Okay, there we
I've
go.
dated guys
If
that
I'm
want to
fucking,
make
I want to be treated like a slave. If you're fucking, you want to be paid for your
It's not a want.
your service.
It's not a want.
It's not a want. It's a demand.
It's a service. Work equals payment.
Right.
So whatever type of work that is, whether it's me using my academic prowess, whether it's me being an activist, or whether it's me dropping it like it's hot, work equals payment. And that's what it looks like for me.
You are for the illegalization, I don't know what the word is, but of all, prostitution and whole...
The legalization or the decriminalization of sex work? Of
Decriminalization of
course.
sex work.
We all use our bodies in one way or another. You use your mouth to talk. Other people use their mouths to do other things, and both should be paid. You know what I'm saying? It's only that men, have sexualized and fetishized sex to a point where they can't monetize it in a way that's legal. That's why it's not decriminalized. As in, like, where is that? Arizona, where the casinos are? It's decriminalized, in Vegas, right? Because
That's really the only place in the United States, right?
Not in Vegas. In Nevada. Oh, right. So just go outside the border. Right, it's
Get you
decriminalized because they have found a way to monetize it and make it legal.
That's the only place in the United States that it is decriminalized, right? You can't do that anywhere else.
I don't know.
I don't think so.
I wonder what the I guess the statistics have been, if it's been successful or not, because that is very interesting. I think a lot of people would agree with you.
Absolutely, and we all use our body in one way or another to generate thine coin.
Hey, I like that. I like that term. When I say that, I always say that Dominicans, we are just naturally, we just naturally whores. But whores in a good
Yeah, that's
sense,
one of your jokes.
in a good sense, not the bad word of whore, but listen, the Dominican go and sleep with you, but they are in some form of way.
Men will fuck mud. I heard that from my niece.
What was that?
Men will fuck mud.
Men will fuck mud.
Yes.
In the Dominican Republic?
Not in the Dominican Republic.
Just
Men,
in general.
period.
I don't know if I've done some freaky things, but I don't know if I ever fucked mud. This is great. Oh, you just kind of like a down individual. You're just like a regular person. You're smart.
I am a regular person.
You're just special.
I'm brilliant, actually.
You are, and you're confident.
She's
with that.
great. I want to have her on more. She put you right in your place, honey.
This is the first.
I've been needing somebody to do that.
Is it a challenge?
Oh,
See, that's how toxic masculinity has taught you that a black woman who affirms herself, who speaks confidently, who is assertive, is a challenge, and it's not.
I'm all for asserting yourself and speaking highly of yourself, but you accused me, straight out of some things. So I didn't think that was toxic.
There were no accusations. I made observations and then deductions. Share them with you.
That's just a nice way of saying, get your shit together, nigga. Why you want to name it tranny talk?
That's
Why you
crazy.
Do that? Words. Wow. Okay. Good. Well, we've asked that too. We said, listen, if you guys disagree with that point, go ahead and say it. We appreciate your point. I would love to meet your parents.
Would you? My mother's amazing.
I bet. Is she still a preacher?
Yeah, she's a preacher and she's a doctor in Michigan. She is amazing.
Is that where you get that your oratorical skills are?
Absolutely.
Point.
Absolutely. I am an orator. I speak for a living. I speak, to inspire not just others but myself as well. And being a black trans woman, we don't get opportunities in spaces to tell our stories. Because like you said before, it's all about the doom and the gloom, the violence. Yes, those things happen. Yes, I was a sex worker. Yes, I was raped before. Yes, I lived in a men's shelter. Yes, I've been discriminated against. You know what I'm saying? Has that impacted my life? Yes, it has. Is it the sum of me? No. I'm a beautiful, articulate person who has a master's degree in public administration. And every day I wake up surrounded by the love and joy of other black trans people. And my only reason for getting up is to inspire them, because when they get up, they inspire me. And I think that's really, really important.
Give it up for that one.
Yes. What is this coming?
Perfect.
Oh,
Perfect.
my. Love one another.
Wow.
It's a shot, right? They still drinking.
All right, Joe, we see you, bro.
Thank you so much.
That was amazing.
That was delicious.
Guys, once again, we are at live on air here every single week, 8 o'clock. They bring the pain. This is Louisiana cuisine.
They have amazing drinks here, and their food is really great.
Fantastic.
Really great.
Space. We are so
really great atmosphere.
To do this.
Great staff. Amazing.
Yeah, this is great. Okay, so the confidence is there. In terms of your work, your oratorical skills, I saw you speak in Albany. And again, we're talking about this a little bit. I'm not saying it was a bland, meeting or whatever, but it was just lacking whatever. Somebody brought you up. I said somebody. I don't even know who it was. Because I forgot her. I knew who it was, and then I forgot it. And brought you up to the mic, and I swear I was like, Malcolm? It was just powerful. Like it gave me chills.
Deeply inspired by Malcolm X.
Deeply inspired by Malcolm X.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
An eye for an eye.
Right.
A life for a life.
Right.
Absolutely. Malcolm X, listening to his speeches a lot of times on flights really deepens my politicization. Right. Just around blackness and queerness and
Black nationalism is
absolutely, and just being proud of who I am as a person, and not having to look outside of that to find any type of joy or happiness.
That's such a great point, because a lot of these, I say the Islam religion or Muslim religion, I guess you say that they are against LGBT people. I don't know. I've heard this. But if you really follow someone like Malcolm X and what he was saying, he was freedom for all peoples. Really?
I don't think that that's true or
You don't think that
accurate.
Muslims are against LGBT?
Yeah, I
people?
don't think that that's accurate. I think a lot of times with many religions, as I spoke to you about this before, colonization and white supremacy has done a great job at erasing, true narratives of Islam, of Africans, previously enslaved Africans, descendants of previously enslaved Africans. Colonization has decimated, civilizations across the entire world, in race history. And so what I think has happened is that colonization has got its motherfucking hands on Islam and told a lot of people a bunch of lies about what is said about LGBT
This is
people.
a rough one because first off, I do not see Islam as a friend of the LGBT community. I hate to say that. Whether that's a white supremacy thing or not.
But do you mean Islam as a whole? Because I know Muslims who are LGBT, so I'm trying
Absolutely.
to understand. I don't understand that, right?
Absolutely.
Because how could Islam be something that hates LGBT people, yet LGBT people are proud to be Muslim and proud to practice Islam?
Well, I say the same thing for Christianity.
It is, again, Christianity is another religion that has been bastardized by colonization and white supremacy.
So I used to actually be a preacher, for a non-denominational Christian church, and I taught very heavily, that Popo coming.
See, they knew I was going to be here.
Coming to get
They
you,
knew I was
Lord.
going to be here.
They said, Lord's fitting to turn up. We got to shut this shit down. We taught, that was all an abomination.
Of course. I mean, but where in the Bible does it say anything about trans people being an abomination?
Wow. And
I'll wait.
And listen, and listen, and this.
I'm waiting.
Okay, and this is the truth.
Exactly.
And this is the truth. And
They're actually trans people who are revered and lifted up in the Bible. Eunuchs are trans people.
Absolutely.
And they are lifted up in the Bible. They're revered. They're protector of holy women. And so I think really people should understand how colonization has taught us to hate ourselves. White supremacy has taught us to hate ourselves, not just black people, all people.
Right.
And especially, but more so for us, for black people, for trans people. I think we realize it more because every day we wake up with a tightened chest. Every day we wake up gasping for air, wondering, is this going to be the day that someone's going to take my life simply for existing? So I have no time to sit back and be scared and live in fear and wait for you to accept me. I'm going to live my best life today as if it's my last day. But it's not, so I'm still here. So let's do something useful, right?
Right. What do you say to white people who are watching this broadcast right
www.twalk.us/donate. That's what I say to white people. Pour into the lives, pour into the work.
Remember the scene in Malcolm X when Malcolm and his group of men were walking up the stairs, and a little cute, she was so adorable, white girl. She said, "What can a white person like me do to help the cause and help the movement of because I believe in what you're saying." He was like, "Nothing," and then he walked away. Nothing, bitch. Okay.
No, there is room for everyone. Like it's collective liberation.
Joe, you can't do shit.
Right?
No, Joe is.
What is Joe doing?
Joe, you can't do anything.
No, there is room for Joe. Joe is doing it right now. Joe, you're doing it.
Joe, I'm fucking with you, Joe. It's like I'm helping you right now.
It's all of us or none of us. You know what I'm saying?
White people can donate. Okay, well,
that's right.
You said white supremacy. Back to that question. What can what do you say to the white person who's sitting at home watching this broadcast and saying, "How am I? What do you mean? That's a product of white supremacy. I'm not, supreme of you. I'm not, in a privileged situation."
Then this person must be living under a rock, and so then there's no dialogue for me. That's work for somebody else to do.
Okay. Mm-hmm. So you're only speaking to people who are open to.
Absolutely, I have no time to waste. 9 trans women of color were murdered this year. The average age of them was less than 25 years old. I'm 41, so this could be my last breath. There's any day my mother could receive a phone call to identify my body. So I have no time to try to pull and pluck and cajole and coddle and convince people that my life matters. Fuck that bullshit. I'm about to work with the people who already understand that so that we can build a world ready for the rest of y'all motherfuckers to come stay in. Okay?
This show was brought to you.
She's amazing. I love her.
By water, and I need a drink. Oh my god.
I need to get some of her courage.
I sell it at www.
Speaking of the Trans Women's Collective, what are some upcoming projects? That
Oh my gosh! So tomorrow we have this amazing teach-in that's happening in Washington D.C. As soon as I leave here, I'm going to get lots of drinks with my friends, and then I'm gonna head back to D.C. because we have this teach-in where we'll be teaching white people like what they can do in the movement, because there's so many white people and non-trans people or whomever who's like, hey, I want to do something, I don't know what to do. So we're going to help them, put those ideas together, brainstorm and build groups and send them out there to do the work. So we're doing that tomorrow in DC. And then on Friday, the climate march is coming this Saturday to Washington, DC. Tens of thousands of people are coming into DC. And so the night before, we're going to have this amazing dance party protest that starts at the White House.
Before that.
Yes, we've done a couple of dance party protests, and they have been successful. We use them as fundraisers as well because lots of white kids come there. And sure, you can dance for liberation, but what else are you doing that's sustaining the lives of people who have absolutely nothing? So they come, they dance, they march with us, they swipe their card, and they've given to the movement.
Right.
And so instead of them just coming to a protest and holding up a sign and then going to have $100 steak with their white friends, they're actually doing more. And so that's important.
And Dina, you love dancing. Now that's a movement I can see you protesting if you could twerk.
I do not twerk. I don't twerk.
When's the next
JC, I do not twerk.
Right.
Shut up.
Oh my
you
God.
are the twerker,
I'm going to
JC.
protest your twerking.
Jack, you are the one that twerks.
I'm twerking non-conforming.
No, you're twerking like you're having a seizure. But that would not be culturally competent jokes. I can't say that. But
yes, you can. That's
no,
the whole
that's
point.
mean and that's evil and that's wrong.
Stop it. It was funny.
And it's not. You should make fun of people who have seizures, but that twerking you were doing,
it's true. We had a
reminiscent of
you were talking about it. We were talking about our relationship and things that we do and all that. We had a lip syncing contest, I guess, here last week.
We did.
And I think I did Kia, My Neck, My Back.
Oh my God!
And,
He also did
my pussy and
RuPaul.
my ass crack.
He did RuPaul cover.
And my crack. Hey. So anyway, and
I'm gonna need another one.
And I twerked up on.
No, you did that. You danced on me to RuPaul, and you got a big
and I
fret
did
pad,
RuPaul.
and you were moving, and then you got on my lap, and you gave me a
better
lap
work,
dance.
Cover girl. I'm on it.
Do you have any male friends that are black?
Yeah, he does.
One or two. Why do you ask?
I just wonder if you did those things with them.
No.
And can I watch?
Let me tell you.
I just wanted to know. I mean, this is
he won't
Brooklyn.
act
You never
like
know.
this in front of them. He would certainly not act like this in front
Black
of them
guys, if
or
you're
them.
listening, I'm here for you. You know what I'm saying, my brother?
That's a lot going on there. That's a lot going on.
Caught me off guard with that. You're open about sexual talk? You said something about you being a sex worker. I really don't want to talk too much about that, but it's just something that came out very.
Oh my God! I was like a sex worker for like a month in 1995.
You said it so much. You said it in a way like it was like something.
I did. I had to suck dick for money to pay the fare at the hotel room, to buy clothes, all of that. I sucked dick for like a month, and then I met a John who had a lot of money, and it ended up in my possession. So then I bought an 8-ball of coke and started selling that to sustain myself. Absolutely. I mean, trans people have to do all types of things. So, the same shit that everybody else have to do to survive. There is no difference, and that's the whole point.
But okay, you're saying
because trans people ain't the only people that suck dick for a living.
Of course not.
Or to survive.
But is this a common?
I've seen some men do it.
Is this a common?
Some black men do it.
Is this a common narrative? Is this a common narrative in the trans community?
Which one?
That a lot of trans people are sex workers.
I think it's a common narrative in all communities that folks do what they need to do to survive, whether it be sex work, whether it be selling drugs, whether it be writing bad checks, whether it be standing on the corner doing what they have to do. But that's not like the sum total of a person, right? Sometimes folks just need to do that because life is fucked up, you know.
A lot of it is. I've been told that the rates of discrimination in the trans community are just their highest out of
It's
any of
true.
the other demographics.
It's true.
People are having an aversion to hiring trans people.
It's actually legal in, I think, 29 states to discriminate against trans people when accessing jobs, healthcare, educational opportunities, housing.
Right.
So even in Michigan, where I'm from, I can take a check for $100,000 as a down payment for a house, and that check can be rejected. In Michigan, I can take my mom out to a restaurant to eat, and they can say they're not going to serve me because I'm trans, and that is the lived reality of many people all across this country.
And you understand that there are people out in the world who just, I don't want to say they're not thinking about this, but they would never know that trans people are going through that level.
They know.
I would say that they don't know.
They know.
I would say that they don't.
I don't believe that.
Really?
I do not. I refuse to believe that people do not see the disparities of violence that is happening to communities across the board, not just trans people.
Right.
Because trans people it's not like white people, black people, trans people.
Trans people are all races.
Right. We're in all races. We're in every community. So you cannot tell me that you're not seeing it. I refuse to believe that.
Right.
I refuse to believe that. And also, I don't need to have a friend who has cancer to know that cancer kills.
True that.
Speak on
it. I don't need to know that, I don't need to have had run somebody off the road to know that I may need to be weary of pedestrians.
Right.
Like this, come on.
Yeah.
Listen,
we have barbershop conversations, and it's just, I'm telling you, I'm speaking to, regular motherfuckers in the barbershop, and it's not even a factor in their life.
It's not a factor
and
that
people do have questions, and they do have questions.
I think it's not a factor that they're revealing to you.
Okay, now
because again, back to toxic masculinity and how that shows up.
We're going to talk about this anyway, because we talk about black men, specifically black men. We were just talking about this last night with the Harlem situation, and there being like an aversion towards trans women, yet in many cases, black men are a lot of the times, I guess, I don't know. I don't even know what to say. Having sex with trans women? I don't know what's going on.
Not only is it that black men are having sex with trans women, black men are killing trans women simply because of this motherfucking toxic masculinity that you keep trying to avoid, that I keep talking about.
I am not avoiding it. Let's go ahead and talk about it.
It's true. Like, for some reason, there has been this stigma that lingers over the black community that it really doesn't even have anything to do with trans people, but has to do with black men themselves and how they show up.
Nothing with gay anything.
No, it's
gay. What? Like what? And it's very hardcore. Like, don't even ask me anything like that. I don't want to know about it.
Until after a few drinks and you all go home.
Okay. Yeah. The down low situation is a thing.
It's not even down low anymore.
Right.
It's not. It's very prevalent. The same men that are sleeping with women are sleeping with trans women, are sleeping with men.
Right. Do you believe that black women specifically have, a reason to be scared? Because it seems like a lot of them act like scared of any men who would be involved with either trans people or gay people or anything. It seems like black women specifically are very like, don't.
Well, I don't know what you're asking me, but what I can say is that the culture of white supremacy and colonization has taught black women to act in particular ways that further ostracize black men and how they show up in their masculinity. In addition to that, to feel as if trans women are some type of competition or something like that. And so that is happening culturally, through social constructions. It's not like all black women think this or
100%. It is making trans women and regular. That's a whole type of thing.
Not regular, sis.
What we use? Are you a natural born woman?
Natural born. No one is born a woman. You thought you was born a man. You wasn't born a man.
What was I born?
You tell me. You wasn't a man.
I mean,
you may have been assigned a birth, male or female. It wasn't man.
Okay. So I was assigned birth a male.
You was assigned male, and then you took on socially constructed roles and mannerisms and performance that have been proscribed by culture to men, and particularly black men, and you've mimicked them your entire life.
Right. This is very interesting. I think I'm being read again. I don't know. I'm not really sure. I feel like that's what's happening right now.
No, this is knowledge, power.
Usually when we talk in all these terms, cis, this, and all, we are talking about trans or, LGBT culture because it's always them over there.
Right.
Straight people do not use these terms. We don't.
Cis is Latin, right? I don't know if that language was created by trans people. I would have to Google that, but
That's
I do
true.
believe some cis folk created cis.
Yeah, and yet you're using terms that we created, and yet, again, to the ignorant or to the layperson, it's kind of like, not keep that over there, but that's for y'all.
But that's what, colonization has also taught us to not even find out about ourselves, that we shouldn't even know our heritage. They have made it purposefully, they have orchestrated us to forget our heritage. We celebrate Christopher Columbus in this country, and everybody knows damn well he did not discover this country.
Of course.
We have dead slave owners on our money that says, "In God we trust." So we continue to be fed lies. We continue to believe lies.
Right.
What was last Sunday, Easter? Motherfuckers going out buying Easter bunnies and chocolate eggs and shit. Like, what is all of this nonsense?
Right.
Why do we continue to let colonization, capitalism, feed us these narratives of complacency, right? So we don't notice the starving children or the folks getting less than what they should to be able to survive. These are all ploys that have been put into action, through years and years of capitalism.
Right.
Birthed by colonization.
Just something that we were talking about. I just want to reverse real quick. What do you think about black men with trans women who are not of color? Does that ever? Do you find that has anything to do with colonization or
black cis men?
I guess black cis
Black
men.
cis men who date
white
trans women.
Yes.
And what's your question?
Do you give the side eye?
The white women can have all of the cis men because the black cis men are killing trans women. So I'm not about to be laying down with no black cis man anyway. Not at this moment. I need to have his social security number, his mama's social security number. I need to have.
You don't know what's going on after
hello.
that situation.
No, everybody gonna know what's going on between us because you're not gonna say in a fit of rage you didn't know what was going on.
You want it to be open.
Oh no, the white women can have all the black cis men that they want. I give them all to them because I need someone who's going to honor me and treasure me. And
Publicly, it needs
at all
it's
times.
It's not even a
at all
question.
times. So.
Yeah, because a lot of times that's what the situation. We want to have this relationship on the down low. We don't want this.
They don't want anyone else to know about it, and then they kill us, right? And so colonization has taught them to kill us too. So colonization has taught black men that they can't love trans women.
Right.
This is something that is real, right? Trans people just didn't pop on the earth, and we just didn't start getting murdered either.
Right. We did talk about this a little bit before this show, and I didn't want to get this, the wind taken out of the sails, but I said that in continents like Africa and many of the countries, without colonization, it seems like there has been a real kind of,
and I will remind you
for LGBT people
that Africa,
without white supremacy being
Africa
involved.
was colonized before America.
The entire continent was not colonized. You had
what school did you go to? What school did you go to?
The entire continent of
the hell? It was split up by the Dutch, the French, the Europeans. Everybody had a piece.
Right.
And they still have a piece.
Right. So, just going.
You think Africa wasn't colonized? How did you think where do you think the transatlantic slave trade came from? A history of colonization that was already happening. King Leopold, you didn't hear what he did to the Congo?
Sure.
What is still happening, the extrapolation of all the resources there, that's called colonization. When the missionaries went in there and took Jesus, they lied to the whole...
You are basically asserting right now that white supremacy is the only reason, basically, throughout the world, that anybody would be against trans people and gay people?
No, what I'm saying is white supremacy is the birth of every other ism that we have to deal with. Capitalism, racism, homophobia, transphobia, poverty. And it all stems from that.
Right.
That's what I'm saying. So.
Yeah, I have not generally seen it like that. I feel like communities you know what? Even
You
let's
might
say,
need some more black male friends
not
or
at
something.
all. Not at all. I am very.
Yeah, 'cause the
Listen,
black men, they
I'm not
think it's
ashamed. I'm
What
not
they call them,
ashamed.
hoteps?
I
They
am
got all types.
not at all.
Yeah.
Not at all. I'm not ashamed of myself at all. What I believe.
You didn't even know Africa was
I,
colonized.
that's not true. I said that not all of Africa was colonized.
What part wasn't colonized? Where's my phone? Because you know my assistant, Googs, is right on deck. What part
We
of
can have
Africa?
a whole conversation about that, but then we're going to just go Google search.
We gotta have proof. Well, how we gotta prove? You just
Hold
can't
me
say
on my
stuff and not prove it. You gotta have proof. It's part of being an academic, right? You
But
can't
at
just
the
say
end of
it.
the day, accountability is a thing.
Yes, it is.
So listen, I want black people right now, be accountable for how you act right now. Yes, you can go. Obviously, yes, know your history and all of that. But I need a reason right now why people are killing, trans people. I don't want to hear about white, supremacy 200, 300.
Oh, I'm not
2,000
talking
years
about
ago.
2,000 years
Right
ago.
now,
I'm
let's
talking
be
about
accountable.
right now. White supremacy and colonization has warped black men's minds into thinking what they need to look like to show up. And through that warping of their mindset,
Right.
they think that they have to kill black trans women or trans women, period, because society has told them that that's not something that can be accepted.
Even-
and that's not something that was created hundreds and hundreds of years ago. That's something we see every day in the
point.
media, in rap music,
Actually,
in
great
pop culture. Come on now.
Great point.
This is not something new that just happened, right? Black men, it's not even about so much as black men. Also looking at the surrounding, looking at the factors that are impacting their lives in addition to poverty, homelessness, lack of access to resources. That causes people, when you put a whole bunch of poor people with no resources in the same place, of course they're going to be killing each other.
Right.
What they going to do? Ain't nobody got nothing. But if you put a bunch of people, in a place where there's lush resources, where they're overflowing, where resources are just bountiful, who's got time to kill people?
Who is putting us in a situation?
You know
that's
what?
bountiful?
Y'all gonna get me off this.
No, I'm serious. Because it sounds like you're proposing something now.
Oh.
Yeah, it sounds like you're proposing something now that I don't know. It's an ideal. It's an ideal, but
It's called.
I have never ever felt like white people or the government should save us.
Oh, I never thought that either. That is not the narrative. The government, you cannot appeal to your oppressor for your freedom. That would never happen.
That's Malcolm, right?
That would,
there.
of course, right? And
That's
all the
Malcolm.
scraps from Master's table would never equal a
I
feast.
never really.
So we can get all the concessions that we want from the government, from whomever, politicians.
Right.
None of that will equal collective liberation because they had to take that from someone else to give that to you.
That's
Absolutely. So yeah. All right now.
All right, man. Listen, I was expecting the heat, but god damn.
This was
Not
amazing.
allowed.
I loved it.
And you were on Essence. We were talking about this before. You were on Essence, but you said some of your things were cut out.
Oh,
See,
yes.
this is the real. All of this, as bad as this is, for me, we're still going to put this entire thing up. You know what I mean? The
Yeah.
Essence interview was heavily edited.
Very much, because I said white supremacy and colonization at least 12 times.
You can't talk.
And they
you can't
cut
say
that.
those words.
They cut every one of them out, and I was like, it's really not authentic to like invite me someplace and say that it's live, and I tell my viewers that it's live, and then it's heavily edited, and then like my viewers are like, what you go on there for? Like they said, you snatched that girl edges. No, bitch, I collected her edges from the dough to the end of it, because she was
You
sitting
talking
there.
about the moderator? Or?
No,
Oh.
the one sitting next to me,
Yeah.
Ty. Because she was talking about, at the end of the day, I'm going to feel the way I feel. Well, you could talk to me till I'm blue in the face. I'm still going to feel this way about trans people.
Right.
And then I said to her, then you're not here to learn. What are you here for?
Right.
And then she's like, yes, I am here to learn. I guess they didn't want to blow that up on her. Because she was like, I just don't understand. I'm a woman. I have these feelings. And I'm like, well, where do these feelings originate from?
Right.
She was telling me how I choose to dress like this. And I'm like, I'm sure you woke up and chose to put that on, right?
Oh, this all didn't hit.
None of that hit.
Wow. That's crazy.
But it was all good, it was a good experience. But even I talked about my family in the clip and talked about how my brothers, supported me and my family supported me and loved me and always affirmed me, and how my brothers would whoop your motherfucking ass if you looked at me wrong.
Right.
They cut all of that out. And I'm like, why would you not
Isn't
want?
that interesting?
Why would you not want
Because
people to
it's
hear?
It's positive. It's not a
Why
narrative
would you have
that-
someone on if you're gonna cut
But
out
it's
what they're
also-
saying? That's ridiculous.
That's ridiculous.
That doesn't
So-
make any sense
Listen,
at all.
same thing with Dina. Dina comes from a very loving family.
Mhm.
Best parents in the world. You know, just she's got a background that's not completely the same as a lot of the stories that we hear. And I wonder why they wouldn't want to keep that on. You talking about something actually positive, that your family accepted you and loved you, and they didn't even want to put that on.
Well, the media likes to control the narrative.
Absolutely.
You know, they like to deem what's important, what's valued, whose life has value. And so what value would it be for me to now put this black trans woman on a platform and say, look at this amazing thing she's done and look at her amazing family and friends?
Right.
The only thing that could do is help somebody else.
Right. And the topic of white supremacy, I hate to say this, but that ain't getting public, boo. That is not happening. You start talking about white person, who is this uppity nigga?
Well, I stay booked, so
Okay.
I got a booking tomorrow.
And for a lot of white people.
For white people want to
All
hear.
right.
They want to hear this because they're not getting this from their quote unquote black friends, because their black friends don't want to lose that privilege, the access that they get from being around particular spaces that they don't necessarily have access to. But what you will find out is no matter how you present yourself, you will always not be in spaces. You will always be put out of spaces because of your skin. But there are some people, some dynamic people, who will create an opportunity for you, or will create an opening, an oasis for you to step right into your leadership. And it happens a lot, And so that's why I choose to be unapologetic, because people call me all the time asking how can they help me do what I do better or do it more,
Why? So why back down? Like this?
Yeah.
Yeah. Awesome. Well, listen, we appreciate you being unapologetic. We appreciate you coming down and reading us our Miranda rights and all of that. It got tense at times, but I still want to be your friend.
Really?
Yeah.
But you know what? That's when the shift happens. It's when you're uncomfortable, right? If there's a pebble in your shoe and you're walking down the street, you're not going to keep walking down the street. You're going to stop. You're going to shift that pebble out your shoe so that you can continue. So the uncomfortability is just letting you know that it's time to make a shift.
Right. And I absolutely appreciate, we need this. We need more voices, trans voices that are so bold and beautiful as yours. You're important.
Yes,
You
I am.
really are.
Thank you.
You're important. So we really appreciate that. And I'm good. I'm still good.
Yes, you survived, right?
Barely. I'm broken, but I'm here. Oh man,
So funny.
fantastic. Lourdes, where can people find you? Please give us your social media or any upcoming events specifically.
Absolutely. You can find me on social media, Lourdes Ashley Hunter, and that's on Facebook. You can find me on Hunter Lourdes, at Hunter Lourdes on Twitter.
Right.
And definitely check out our website, www.twocc.us. You can find articles that we've been in, places, up and coming events. We have a Facebook page you can check out, just Trans Women of Color Collective. And yeah, thanks for having me.
Thank you so much for coming on. Dina, the beautiful Dina, where can they find you?
They can find me on Facebook, Dina Marie Martin. They can find me on Instagram at Fabulous Dina Marie, on Snapchat, Fabulous Lady D.
Would she be taking thousands of pictures? She love herself, boy.
Shut up.
Beautiful. And then as far as the Trans Talk.
Trans Talk, they can find us at Trans Talk Radio on Twitter, on Instagram, on Snapchat, and on Facebook. They can find us. It's Trans Talk with JC Best and Dina Marie.
And if you want to email us or if you have feedback or questions, go ahead and just send us an email.
transtalkradio@gmail.com.
There we go. And I'm JC Best. You can find me at JC Best everywhere. Just Google me, bitch. I'm out there. And this has been another awesome, amazing, wonderful episode of Trans Talk. Once again, every Sunday night, coming to you straight, live and direct from live on air here at 335 Flatbush Avenue.
Yeah.
We're out, and we will see you next week.
Thanks for coming on.
Trans